What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be talking about how the Houston Texans can be a future dynasty down the road. And without further ado, please like and subscribe. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. We're at 94 subscribers right now. We're 6 away from hitting 100. So that'll be great if we can hit that goal by the end of this month. Anyways, please like, also comment, and let's get on with the video, okay? So let's start off with the salary for the Houston Texans this year. So as we can see right here, the Houston Texans have a $54 million cap hit, which is like really good because that's probably I think they're top 10 in the league with cap space. So that gives them a lot of leverage during free agency to sign really good big players. And I'll get into that later, but I'm not really going to get into who they should sign in the free agency today. I think that should be for another video. But just saying, they have a lot of cap space. Don't be surprised if they're one of the teams that gets a lot of free agents this season. But if you look at the roster, I think what stands out is that this team is very young, right? This is a very young team that overachieved last year. When I last year, I mean last season, this upcoming season, this season that happened, 2023, when they drafted C.J. Stroud at number 2, and basically got lucky. They got lucky with C.J. Stroud at number 2 because I'm just telling you right now, if the Texans had the number 1 pick, they would have definitely chose Bryce Young without a doubt. He was the consensus number 1 pick last year. And, I mean, there was some argument where, C.J. Stroud might be the number 1 pick, but let's be honest. Bryce Young would have went to the Texans had they had the number 1 pick and the Bears had the number 2 pick. So, that's not a surprise there. Now, let's talk about C.J. Stroud real quick. I'm not going to talk too much because, I mean, his numbers basically speak for himself. He had 4,100 yards. 63% completion percentage, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He completed 319 passes, had a record of 10-7, won the AFC South for the Houston Texans, which is very impressive. I didn't think that the Houston Texans were going to be this good of a team. I thought, in my opinion, I thought the Texans would be a bottom feeder team. I thought C.J. Stroud was going to struggle this year, but he proved everybody wrong and became arguably a top 5 quarterback in the league. I think he's definitely top 10, without a doubt. But you can argue he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. I think we need to see more of C.J. Stroud. Maybe maybe 1 or 2 more years before we put him in the top 5. But the fact that he performed to this degree with the team that he had around him speaks for itself. And I really want to talk about his TD to interception ratio. I think that's what really stood out to me is that usually rookies in their first year throw a lot of picks, they throw a lot of interceptions, but CJ Stroud was able to limit the turnovers and make positive plays this season, and I was very impressed with him. His turnover TD to interception ratio was one of the best in the league. So that was really good. That's really good for CJ Stroud. So I want to now talk about Nico Collins, their draft pick 2 years ago. I think he was a 3rd-round pick for the Houston Texans. He had a career year this year. He had 1,297 yards, 8 touchdowns. He's basically C.J. Stroud's best weapon. I mean, I guess you can argue Tank Dell, but Tank Dell I think was wide receiver 2. I think Nico Collins was number 1, and he played amazing this year. I mean, he had 8 touchdowns. That was pretty good. I think he was tied for 10th. Yeah, he was tied for 10th this year in touchdowns. And I think Nico Collins is only going to get better. He's only going to get better. This team, that's just the beauty about the Texans is that they have such young players producing at a high level that and they're all on rookie contracts where this team can basically go out and get free agents, get some more help with the receiving core, and make this team even better. And that's the scary part of the Houston Texans. I think Nico Collins is going to take even a bigger jump next year and get 1,500 yards next year. I mean, he has a capacity to do that. Yeah. He also played really good in the postseason. He had 164 yards against the in the postseason. So that was really good for Nico Collins. Again, I think it was against the Browns. He had the touchdown. He had an insane game in the wild card round. So that was good. Yeah. Let's get on with Tank Dell. I'm just gonna quickly just look at his stats real quick. He had a pretty good year too. I mean, he had a 709 yards, 7 touchdowns. He was a rookie. He was also injured for like 4 games, I think, this year. So that's another thing. I don't think he played in the playoffs. I'm pretty sure he didn't play in the playoffs. I think he was injured that game. The 2 games that they played in the playoffs this year. So that was impressive. I think that was a good draft pick they got. So they basically nailed their wide receiver position. I think if they get a wide receiver like Mike Evans or like T Higgins or like something like that, they can easily make this wide receiving core even better. Now let's get to the defensive side of the football, because I feel like the Texans defense was really underrated this year, right? Their draft pick that they traded up to the Arizona Cardinals, they gave up a first round pick next year, so the Cardinals have 2 first round picks due to the Houston Texans trading up to get Will Anderson. And in my opinion, if I was the Cardinals, they should have taken Will Anderson. Will Anderson was a steal for the Houston Texans. I think it was worth giving up the first round pick this year because, in my opinion, Will Anderson played amazing this year. I'm not. I forgot if he won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Please let me know in the comments if I got that wrong. But I'm pretty sure he won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Him and CJ Stroud both got Offensive and Defensive Rookies of the Year, and that was really impressive. This year he had 7 sacks, 45 total tackles, 29 solo tackles. He basically anchored this D line for the Texans, and I was really impressed by that. And I think the Houston Texans nailed this, and they have a good future, good edge rusher for their team, and he's only on a rookie deal, so he should be fine. And then Derek Stingley, their first round pick last year, 3rd overall. There's nothing really to be said for him. He had 5 interceptions this season. Had a really career year, and he's really good. Derek Stingley is like probably a top. For me, he's a top 10 corner in the league, and he's only going to get better. He's going to go into his 3rd year. Yeah, the secondary, I think the Houston Texans need to improve their secondary a little bit more, but Stingley is definitely a really good piece for them, and they'll definitely become one of the best secondaries in the league if they address that in the free agency. But only time will tell. Obviously, they have money. So this is my overall thing. I think the Houston Texans. The reason why I think the Houston Texans can be a dynasty coming up in several years is because I believe in their quarterback, in CJ Stroud. I think they nailed CJ Stroud. They overperformed this year. When they were picking number 2 last year, they played amazing. They have a very young roster, and they have a lot of salary cap where they can go out and sign some free agents and build this team to become a really good contender in the coming years. And in my opinion, the Texans are the biggest threat to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I don't think it's Joe Burrow. I don't think it's Josh Allen. I think it's C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. I don't even think it's Lamar Jackson. It's definitely C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. And I'm telling you right now, had they played this season, had the Texans not play the Ravens and instead play the Chiefs, we would have been seeing the Texans maybe go to the Super Bowl. Maybe it's a maybe. It's a maybe. Obviously, Texans this year were inexperienced of a team, but I think in the coming years they can build a roster and build up this team and give C.J. Stroud a good team. They can probably go beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. They're probably the biggest threat in my opinion. But you guys let me know in the comments. Do you guys think that the Houston Texans will be a dynasty of a team? Do you think they are the biggest threat to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs? Let me know. And also let me know what the Houston Texans should do in the offseason. Like, who should they sign? Who should they re-sign? Yeah, and that's going to do it with the video. Thank you for watching, and until next time, peace.